We're going to start off by talking about big backers like Peter Thiel investing in interesting things. Zach, what's going on there?
Sing it, Naomi. We finally know what Block.one is going to do with all its Bitcoin. Announced today, they are going to fund a subsidiary known as Bullish Global that's going to focus on the exchange space, built on the EOS blockchain and looking to bring some DeFi functionality to what had traditionally been the realm of centralized exchanges. Now, this 10 billion number is really interesting because it's $100 million USD and a boatload of Bitcoin being committed to this project by Block.one. Block.one, of course, famous for raising $4 billion in the ICO era to build the software that ran the EOS blockchain. I'm going to kick this over to Naomi. Naomi, there seems to be appetite for more exchanges, and this is a big number from some big names, and I'm actually quite interested to see this this development from Block.one. What's your take?
For sure. I mean, it is interesting seeing all this money being invested in exchanges because honestly, I think they're on the way out. I just see such a surge in decentralized exchanges that I think that, you know, it's really going to eat into the profit margins of these. Obviously, there's always going to be a place for centralized exchanges because of, you know, things like friction and liquidity and all of that. It tends to be better in centralized ones, but the tech is getting better. You're getting, you know, cooler and cooler stuff out there in the decentralized space. It's not like the old days where the only way you could do something decentralized across chain was like BISC and it was peer-to-peer and awkward and there's like no liquidity there. I mean, there are real robust systems being built right now, and I think that they're going to get better and better. So I am interested to see what happens when you have these, you know, juggernauts fighting each other, one of them controlled by like the mass population and the other, you know, big VC-backed ventures. So it's going to be interesting to see how that plays out.
This could be the clearest example of this CDeFi phenomenon that we've been hearing a little bit about. I mean, I think they're trying to sort of harness the power of DeFi, put it on the EOS blockchain, and make an exchange that has liquidity and all sorts of functionality for end users. I just want to break down how this $10 billion figure adds up because the investment is seeded from Block.one, 100 million USD, again, 164,000 Bitcoin and 20 million EOS tokens. So this is how that $10 billion figure gets made. I'm going to throw this to Nate. I think this, I'll throw this to Jen, actually. So Jen, CDeFi, this is a big bet on that, you know, bringing the best of both worlds into one thing known as Bullish Global. What are your thoughts?
Well, Zach, I was actually going to ask you a question. We're talking about another exchange, and I'm always saying, like, do we need more NFT platforms? And when I was reading the story, I was thinking, do we need more exchanges? And with all these exchanges hitting the market, what do people need to consider when choosing which one is the right one for them?
Good question. I mean, I think, you know, ease of use is something that's important, I think. Also, some of these exchanges exist in their own blockchain universes. So like, hey, if I have Ethereum assets, I'm eager to go on to Uniswap, a decentralized exchange on that network to, you know, do my financial business. If I have other assets in the Binance ecosystem, hey, maybe the Binance Smart Chain or Pancake Swap is where I want to go. Sort of, we talk about this idea of interoperability, but it's still only getting there in fits and starts. So being able to work within an ecosystem that you already have a little bit of skin in that game, I think that's where people are sort of making their decisions right now as they look to, you know, use some of this functionality that these exchanges can offer. I'm going to throw this to Nate. I mean, we got Peter Thiel here, we got Mike Novogratz here. These are some mainstream titans of finance. What's your take on this new Block.one endeavor?
Yeah, no, I think some pretty big bags behind this. But one of the things that I do think it kind of signals the fact that there's maybe still some room for exchanges is just the fact that you see exchanges like Coinbase with such high fees, like still they do incredibly well. Like the fees, like they're still not like at rates to zero for fees. So I think there's still room for like kind of competitors to come in, especially like you said, Zach, with the DeFi, CeFi kind of mix. Yeah, and also customer support. Like we still have a lot of the main exchanges will have issues with customer support. So there's still, I think, a desire to kind of figure out between CeFi and DeFi, what's going to work, what's going to be the easiest to use, what's going to be the cheapest to use. So I think there's still room in the exchange space, and I'm excited to see kind of how they mix automated and centralized products.
Yeah, I want to stick with you, Nate, because that really reminded me of, I know you were talking to some analysts around the Coinbase listing and this race to zero, like we see in like traditional finance brokerage apps, right? Coinbase can still command, multiple dollars per trade because the competition for those fees is not quite there yet. And then if you use like a decentralized exchange, you're sort of at the whims of whatever the Ethereum gas fees are at that point in time. So yeah, do you think that like those analysts that you had spoken to for Coinbase would be like, oh yeah, there's plenty of room in this market for, some big players to hop in as well? Is that kind of the takeaway from what you were saying?
Yeah, I think so, because Coinbase does fine. And when they talk about the risks of DeFi, they very much, and decentralized exchanges, they talk about it as still a future-oriented thing for them. People still want kind of the usability and the kind of easy interface that the little bit more centralized exchanges offer.
Yeah, I did a quick glance at the price chart, and the EOS token is pumping about 75% on this news because it will be built on the EOS blockchain. Naomi, I saw your hand go up. What do you got?
Yeah, I just wanted to mention, because Dan Larimer left the project just a few months ago, and that was kind of a really surprising move, especially because if you've been reading his blogs on Voice for a while, he's just really digging into the decentralized social media, and Voice obviously was a big player there. And it really seemed like he was just really passionate about building that out. And then suddenly he leaves and does this decentralized social media project elsewhere, and Block.one kind of pivots. Now they're doing exchanges, and Voice.com is, pivoting as well. So it's very interesting to see this transition of Block.one now that Dan Larimer has left. I'm actually a big fan of Larimer. So Voice.com has apparently pivoted to NFTs. I got a surprise today when I logged on and a little hat tip from Zach Seward, a great reporter at CoinDesk. I logged on and it's like NFT platform. And yeah, I was a little bit shocked, because Voice.com, it really did have a lot of promise in terms of having, decentralized network. But then Larimer started to write these cryptic posts where he's like, every centralized player is going to be subject to censorship. It kind of suggested that, Voice.com was not robust, like built against this. And so he wanted to find something that was even more robust, like make it even more decentralized. So now he's gone in that direction. Block.one's gone in this other direction, looking at exchanges. It's just a very interesting divergence there.
It really is a pretty crazy next chapter for still the company most famous for raising a boatload of money during the ICO days.